Assalamu alaikum. My name is Varisha Amir from Lahore podcast, and today our topic of discussion is the decline of traditional heritage, architectural heritage in Lahore, Pakistan. So, with us, we have our esteemed guest, Ma'am Rabia Nadir, who not only has an expertise in architecture but also a very high educational background, as well as being the acting dean of Lahore School Media and Arts Department. Thank you so much for joining us, ma'am.
Yes.
So once we start, we want to highlight basically how important traditional architecture is in Lahore and how has it been impacted throughout the years till now.
I think the most important thing, as you've said, that it is important and there's a realization because I think the architecture of any place evolves with the culture, the climate. The culture itself is a product of what this place is about, its materials, and the needs of the people living there. So historical architecture is always much more multidimensionally connected to people's lives, and somewhere has become something which is adds value to their life by making their habitat more comfortable, is reflective of their values. So, if in this part of the world, our ideas of privacy or gender segregation or the hierarchy within the family, our religious, symbols, all those become part of that architectural expression. So it evolves and answers all those needs. Uh, and our traditional architecture, if you look at it, Lahore, we think of the beautiful brick buildings, brick as a material which goes far back into, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, that, this is a land in which there's plentiful of sun, there is earth. Not everywhere in the world you get this kind of silt deposit, which makes for these beautiful red bricks. And then the temperature here. So this was a material which was in line with the climate, the available materials. So that architecture, if you go into the walled city of Lahore, so it is very reflective of uh, an architectural expression which is evolved with this place and the values and needs of the people.
And moving towards that point, how do you think it has changed, not only as modern and contemporary architecture, but also how has it changed, like as in forms of eras, and how has it even added to our history, or maybe taken away a lot of our part of history as well?
Nothing is static. I'm sure that, over history, even if you look at the architecture of Lahore, you can see influences. It itself is, the Persianate influence when the Mughals came, the colonial influence, the British came, and, the needs of, the colonial rulers, their lifestyle, their own culture, they created buildings which could fulfill that need, or could articulate what they wanted, how they wanted to present themselves, their power, their culture, and what they valued. So that everything has been evolving, but I think increasingly we see that this is not just in Lahore but globally. The what we call modern materials or technologies, they are now becoming disconnected with places. So technologies arrive here not because they are most suitable or they have somehow evolved here, but they are brought here because either they're cheap or people aspire to certain images and certain their way of life is changing.
It's been more commercialized.
Yeah, it's more globalized. It's a market.
I agree. I agree. So, do you think there should be strategies put in place so that there is some level of cultural heritage, preserved in Lahore or even in Pakistan? as a whole as well.
I think nobody would say you erase architecture heritage. I think even those who want modern homes also want to have a walled city they can go to, and something beautiful to show. And I think that there is less debate about that. But the other is really whether that traditional architecture is a real need, or is it a better choice. I think in Lahore, it's still, there are so many lessons to be learned from that.
So thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. It was very insightful. And as we all know, it's very important to actually understand the importance of cultural and traditional heritage and architecture in Lahore, and not even in Lahore, but in Pakistan as well. So, ma'am, Rabia Nadir has really, enlightened us with all of this information. Thank you so much once again, and hopefully we get to talk again.